Long ago, in the heart of an African village called Ayakoso, there stood a mighty baobab tree. It was the largest tree in the land, with roots that seemed to touch the sky and a trunk so wide that 10 men could not wrap their arms around it. But this was no ordinary tree. The elders warned the villagers never to touch its bark, pluck its leaves, or rest beneath its shade after sunset. "That tree is cursed," the elders would say. "It is home to the spirits of the forgotten, and whoever disturbs it shall face their wrath." One season, when the sun scorched the earth and the rivers ran dry, a young hunter named Jabari grew restless. He was the strongest and bravest hunter in Ayakoso, but also the most arrogant. He believed no spirit, no elder, and no curse could harm him. One evening, as he roamed the dry lands searching for game, he came across the great baobab tree. Its gnarled branches stretched toward the sky like the arms of a spirit. Beneath it lay a pool of water, the only source for miles. Jabari's throat burned with thirst, but he hesitated. He remembered the elder's warning. "Bah!" he scoffed. "No tree controls me. If the spirits are real, let them show themselves." He strode forward, cupped his hands, and drank deeply from the water. Then, to prove his fearlessness, he took his hunting knife and carved his name into the bark of the baobab tree. The wind howled. The air grew thick with whispers. The ground trembled beneath his feet. From the mist surrounding the baobab, shadowy figures emerged. Their translucent forms shimmered, their eyes glowing faintly in the dim light. Their whispers grew into a chorus of unknown words. Jabari turned sharply, but before he could react, a cold sensation crept through his veins. He looked at his hands, his strong, calloused hands. His breath caught in his throat as veins darkened, twisting like the roots of the cursed tree. His skin hardened, his limbs stiffened. Terror filled his chest as he realized he was becoming part of the baobab. By dawn, Jabari was no more. In his place stood a young baobab tree, its twisted limbs reaching toward the sky. The next morning, the villagers approached the sacred grove at sunrise. A hush fell over them as they gazed at the baobab tree. Beside it, where there had been nothing before, a new sapling stood. Its bark was eerily patterned, and within its surface, if one looked closely enough, Jabari's face could be seen, his features frozen in silent horror. The elders exchanged solemn glances. The curse had claimed another. "Jabari's pride has turned him into what he defied," they said. "Let this be a lesson. Nature is not to be mocked, and the spirits must be respected." At dusk, the villagers gathered in a ceremonial circle around the baobab. Their torches flickered in the growing darkness. The babalawo they had called for the cleansing of their land raised his staff, his voice powerful as he chanted ancient words. Sacred herbs were scattered on the ground, a desperate attempt to appease the spirits. The air trembled, the spirits watched. But would the curse ever truly be lifted? As night fell, the wind howled through the village, carrying whispers from the forest. The baobab tree loomed tall, its presence more ominous than ever. Those who ventured close swore they could hear faint voices, pleading, warning. The villagers stood at a distance, their faces filled with fear and reverence. They now knew the truth. No one must ever touch the tree again. From that day on, no one dared to touch the sacred baobab tree, and those who did were never seen again. And so in many African villages, the great baobab tree still stands, whispering to those who listen. Some say, on quiet nights, you can hear the voices of the cursed, warning all who dare challenge the spirits of the land.
As we come to the end of the great baobab tree story, let's not forget to like and subscribe to the channel Tales by Ayaba. Stay tuned for more.